everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Late Night Yap. For those of you that know why I'm here, get ready, but for those of you that don't, I actually read Reddit stories. I didn't mean to take such a long hiatus, but I did need a little bit of a break, especially through the holidays. It was insane. But I am glad to be back. I've been having a lot of quality issues with my recordings and my computer, but I think I've kind of fixed it. I got a new microphone for Christmas, so I've been trying to convert all of my settings to the new microphone. As you can see, this lovely pink microphone that matches everything pink. And I haven't been able to get my hair done in a while, so hopefully soon I can get that done. But I do want to say thank you to everyone that continued supporting the podcast. Even though I took a little bit of a break, I appreciate every single one of you, and I am back with more stories. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some of these Reddit stories. All right, we're going to go ahead and start off with some really simple Am I the Asshole stories, because that's just like the easiest and best topic to go with since we've been gone for so long. So the first story is, am I the asshole for pushing my husband out of bed? My husband, 34, and I, 27, have been married for 6 months. He's developed a silly habit of pulling my, oh my gosh, this started off insane. So I guess NSFW, pulling her undies from the back with his finger and then letting the elastic hit her. Okay, well, oh my gosh, okay. He'd do it when I'm asleep and startle me awake and I feel terrible pain. He says it's fun, especially when he comes to bed and finds me sleeping. Best way to wake me up. I told him I hated it and that he needed to stop. Every time he'd just look at me and smile like I was joking. It all came to head a few nights ago. He stayed up playing PS5, came to the room, climbed in bed, and did it again. I woke up screaming and I absolutely lost it. I pushed him with my 2 hands off the bed. He fell backwards and landed on the floor. He asked what the F was wrong with me and that he was just messing with me, but I acted petty and aggressive. I told him that he shouldn't have kept pulling at my underwear. Sometimes I wear pajama pants, and woke me up to cause me pain. He cursed me out and went to sleep in the guest room. We haven't talked since, but he's wanting an apology, saying I was pushing him. But wait, what? We haven't talked about it since, and he's wanting an apology, saying that pushing him was borderline abuse. Okay. What really is abuse? I'm going to go ahead and say it. What's real abuse is when you tell your partner or just any person in general not to do something to you, and then they continue to do it to you. That's weird. Like, anyways, so the first comment says, I'd say he earned the FO portion of FA, which means fuck around and find out. Tell him he gets an apology after apologizing sincerely to you for every time he's pulled this and promising not to do it again. He's disrespectful in other is he disrespectful in other areas of your life too? Yeah, I don't understand what the point of this is. Like, why is he being so weird? And why do men always just decide to play the victim in something that they did wrong? Like, tell me I'm wrong about that. It's always men doing something really bad or terrible, or you ask them not to do something and they still find a way to be the victim in a situation they created. I don't know why your husband thinks that's funny, and I don't know what his problem is, but I'm gonna say personally, not the asshole. If somebody did that to me, or somebody was doing, like, let's just say somebody like just kept doing, like, they just kept flicking you or something, I don't know, just doing something similar to that, right? I would get annoyed and I would say, hey, can you please stop? If they didn't stop, I'm gonna either one, do it back even harder, or push them off the bed just like she did. I feel like it was warranted. I feel like she's not the asshole. But I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our second story. Am I the asshole for siding with my mom instead of my wife? My wife and I have a son who is about to turn 5. My parents, mostly my mom, have been providing us with free childcare since he was a few months old. My mom follows all of our requests, no screens and no added sweeteners, and gives our son a level of care no amount of money could buy, and honestly, we couldn't afford the inferior level anyways. Our son loves my parents, he loves my wife's parents too, but he sees them way less and is always happy when I drop him off and my wife picks him up. I have an older brother that has issues. My parents have bailed him out on several times in the past. A few years ago, he totaled the car that they bought him and they said that they were done helping. It turns out they've been paying his rent for the last 2 years. My wife made a comment about how the squeaky wheel gets the grease and no one will ever wonder who their favorite is. My mom was mad and said that she spends 40 plus hours a week on us and that she can do whatever she wants with her money, whether that be paying her son's rent, pissing on it, or setting it on fire. Dang, she really did piss that lady off. It was definitely an extreme response. I mean, but it ain't somebody's right to comment on her kid, though. I don't know, man. The shit have pissed mama off. My wife demanded an apology, and she said that she didn't deserve to be spoken to like that, and my mom did apologize for being vulgar, but she said the sentiment still stands, and she wants my wife to be quiet about her financial decisions. They went back and forth until my dad made my mom go upstairs. My wife seethed the whole way home. Dang, I can't even say that word. Seized. I'm like trying to say all the sentiment. Is that how you say it? Sentiment? Sentiment? I don't know. Anyways, my wife said that she wants to stop relying on my mom for childcare. She said her mom can do some babysitting and we can find a daycare until school starts in the fall. She said that she couldn't trust our son with someone who is emotionally volatile. I told my wife that she was the instigator and I asked why she couldn't just ignore the information about my brother. I said her son loves his grandparents and yanking them away right before transitions to kindergarten might traumatize him. I also reminded her that we can't afford daycare. My wife said I'm unsupportive and siding with my family against her. Should I just have said that she was right even though I don't think she is? Before I get into my own personal comments, I'm going to go ahead and read some of these comments. So the first one says, if your mom has been babysitting for almost 5 years, she's been giving you and your wife a financial benefit even greater than 2 years of rent. She could have saved you all over $100K, $2K a month at least, and she's giving your child one-on-one attention which he wouldn't get otherwise. You and your wife, by extension, are the favorites. Your wife is an idiot, not the asshole. Also, another comment replied to that and said this and bonus that the kid likes her. I hated staying with my grandmother. She was cool. She just didn't know how to deal with kids at all. Yeah, so I kind of agree with everything that people are saying here. I know it kind of made a little bit of faces when I was reading this. I think it was a little bit rude for somebody to comment on how somebody else parents their child. You know what I'm saying? Because like, it's not really up to that wife to tell her mother-in-law how she should be, I guess, parenting her adult children. I don't know. It's really none of her business, technically. I mean, if it were me, I would have just stayed quiet. I don't really get like into things like that. I don't know. I don't really see it's my place to say things. She was rude. That was rude. And it's really none of her business what the mother does with the money they give them. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you give somebody a gift and then you tell them to give it back because they did something that you didn't like. And it's like a gift that you give to somebody is theirs. You don't just take it away because you feel like it, or maybe because you guys broke up or whatever it might be. That gift is a gift at the end of the day. So, and they're paying her to do a service. It's not really up to them to decide what she spends the money on. That's kind of like controlling and weird. And another comment here says the wife is not thinking about her little boy at all. Dad better set up and protect the child from the wife. I don't really think that she's a narcissist because they did say narcissist wife. I don't know. I mean, we can't really tell from like a story that's only like what, one paragraph long. I don't have enough information to just go off and say, oh, this person's a narcissist. You know, it's not just throw words around because we really don't know. But at the same time, I think like, yeah, like the child needs to come first. And if the grandmother is taking care of this child and doing what the child needs, I mean, I don't really see why there needs to be a change in the child's life so soon, especially when they're going to school like pretty soon. I mean, they're talking about school in the fall, you know, that's going to be what, a couple months from now. School starts in what, like August. So it's real. I mean, really, this is just kind of like, this is just really petty, I think. Petty Betty. That's gonna be my new word, petty Betty. All right, let's go ahead. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the third story. Am I the asshole for considering divorce because my husband doesn't want to live in the city that we agreed on before marriage? That's interesting. Honestly, I feel like this is going to be a really good conversation topic for this story. because I already have a feeling that I know what I want to say, but let's go ahead and get into the story. Hi, this is my first post, so bear with me. I, 24 female, moved to Florida a little over a year ago to be with my husband, male 23. We met in Florida when I was visiting a friend, and we did long distance for a while. Eventually, I decided to move to Florida to give the relationship a real try. That's where he proposed and we got married. Everything happened very fast, but I truly believe in the whole when you know, you know. Before I moved, I was very clear that my long term plan was to live in Texas, specifically San Antonio, so I could be closer to my family. He agreed to spend a few years in Florida so we could be near his family, and with the understanding that once we're settled that we would move to Texas, and he agreed to this. Lately, though, every time I mention that I don't like Florida and that I'm excited to eventually move back to Texas, he gets very defensive and starts talking bad about Texas. I don't know why, but I just got this image in my head of like when SpongeBob and Patrick were making fun of Sandy because she was from Texas. Anyways, SpongeBob reference. That made me start wondering if he ever truly planned on moving with me. Yeah, to be honest, it sounds like he kind of agreed to something that he didn't really want to do, but just said yes. I don't know. Let's just keep reading. Last night, I brought up that he never really takes me out to explore Florida, so there isn't much about living here that I've grown to like. I mentioned something along the lines of when we move to San Antonio, we can do all these things since I know the area really well. That's when he got extremely defensive and said, I already told you I'm not moving to San Antonio and we can move somewhere else in Texas, but not San Antonio. Oh, okay, so he just doesn't want to go there. He'll go to Texas, but he doesn't want to go to San Antonio. That makes sense. Okay. But why did you agree to that though, sir? Doesn't make any sense there. Anyways, this completely shocked me because I've never hidden my intentions to live in San Antonio, and we started arguing, and he wouldn't see my side at all. I explained that San Antonio was the only major city close to my family. They lived about 4 hours away, and that being near them is really important to me, but he still refused to consider it. I told him that since I'm always honest about his plan and he agreed to it, that he should have told me before getting married that he didn't intend to live there. If I had known that, I would have thought twice about marrying him. His excuse is that he doesn't think he'll find a good job there, but I've told him I've actually made more money in San Antonio than I do now in Florida, working in the same field. We argued all night, and now I'm seriously questioning whether I made a mistake rushing into a marriage with someone who won't honor an agreement we made before we got married. If I'm being honest, a part of me feels like he doesn't want to move there because in his mind, all of my exes are there. Meanwhile, all his exes are here in Florida, and I still agreed to move there and start over with him, but he won't do the same for me. So am I the asshole for considering divorce? Okay, number one, why did we jump to not being able to find a good job or not wanting to live in San Antonio to all of a sudden being about her exes? Like, when did that get brought up? She never mentioned that through the rest of the story. And I don't even think OP has replied to a single one of these comments. So I don't think we're going to get an answer on that. But I kind of am curious now if he said something about, like, I'm not moving to San Antonio because all your exes live there. She ain't mentioned that until the end of the story. I don't understand why we can't just put all the information that we need. We only put half the information. Why? Just put all the information. Anywho, the first comment says, not the asshole, get out now before kids are involved. And the another comment replied to that and said he never intended on leaving, which I do agree. Which honestly, I do agree with both of those comments. Which personally, yeah, I do agree with both of those comments. I mean, doesn't really seem like it's going to work out for you guys. I don't know what the intention of getting married was. I mean, I know that you loved him and stuff like that, but because, like, to be honest, when you want to get married, like, it really sucks when you marry somebody who promised things before the marriage or agreed to things before marriage, and then now that you're married, they want different things. Like, there's been a lot of stories that I've seen and heard, just people in general talking about, like, not wanting kids and not wanting a certain lifestyle, but when they get married, the partner suddenly changes, and now all of a sudden they want kids and all these things. I think there was also even a story once where a wife said that she didn't want to take on the husband's last name, and then he secretly signed a marriage certificate to make her have the last name, and she didn't find out until, like, the wedding ceremony was basically happening. So she just had an option to basically not file the marriage certificate, I think. So yeah, I mean, it really sucks when your partner says that they're going to do something or they agree on something and then they change their mind, especially when it's a huge life change. Personally, I think like maybe if you said, "Hey, can we visit San Antonio and go see my family and just see what it's like and see how you feel about it?" And then maybe see if he would like to move. But at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like he's really gonna budge. He lied, obviously. And a lot of these comments here are just saying leave, like, don't let him tie you to Florida. And listen, I don't know what area of Florida you said you guys live in. I don't think you did. Yeah, you didn't say what part of Florida you guys live in. I live in Florida myself, so to be honest with you, depending on where you're at, I can understand why you're bored. You ain't got nothing to do. Y'all probably live in the middle of the woods somewhere, if I'm gonna assume, or have like I can understand why you're bored. I mean, they're really, unless you live in like certain areas, there's really not much to do unless you travel places in Florida. Like where I live, if I want to go to Disney World or Orlando, like I have to drive like 3 hours to get there. So it's just those kinds of things that like if you weren't having your full heart set on staying here, I get it. There's a lot of people that love Florida and there's a lot of people that hate Florida. And personally, I am not one of the people that actually like Florida, even though I've lived here my whole life. I'm born and raised in Florida, but I hate it sometimes. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship here. If I could move and live somewhere else, I honestly, 100% I would. But all of my family lives here. So at the same time, it's like, do I want to leave? Do I want to stay? Personally, I wouldn't leave just because of family. But if I did leave, I would want to take my family with me, to be honest. But I feel like it was a bad decision to marry the man that lives in an area that you don't want to be in, or at least compromised on moving and then he lied. I think I kind of agree with the comments here that are saying leave, get out, don't stay. You know, I don't think you're an asshole for contemplating divorce. I think he's kind of an asshole for lying to you about what you guys had originally agreed on and is now taking it back. Especially if he's being weird and saying like, I'm not living there because all your exes live there. And it's like, bro, you live here. You live in Florida. All your exes are here too, babe. Like, what do you mean? But yeah, so, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next story. Am I the asshole for using my roommate's groceries to feed my friends and giving her money to replace them? I, 22 female, live in a condo that my parents bought for my brothers, my sister, and I while I went to university. They did this to save money on dorms and a meal plan, and also to have an investment property after we're all done with school. All four of us have used it, except for the years when my brothers and my sister and I overlapped. They always had the other rooms rented out to other students, though, through our church community. This is only partially important. My current roommate is a sophomore and she is a little bit wild. Nothing wrong with that. She goes out a lot, but she's a good roommate in general. Except for one thing. She uses up my groceries all the time and just leaves me money to go buy more. It's always enough to cover what she used and sometimes more than enough. Like me, her folks are subsidizing her life. So it isn't a huge problem except for my time going to Costco or whatever. On Thursday, my boyfriend and I were using a rotisserie chicken to make supper for friends that we were having over to play board games because we had no classes that Friday. When we got to the house, my chicken was gone along with some other groceries that we had bought. My boyfriend suggested that we just order delivery, but I was kind of pissed off that she would do this with food I literally set aside. I looked in the fridge to see what we could use, and there was some ground beef thawing out, so we made some loaded nachos when my roommate got home and she was very angry and asked to speak with me privately. We went to her bedroom where she tore into me for using her groceries. I think it's pretty darn ironic though. I had already had the money to replace her beef and chips that we used, and she said that she didn't have time to go shopping before her friend showed up to eat and pregame before going out. She took the money and ordered takeout but was still upset. On Sunday, we had another talk about it. She says that we will not be using each other's groceries anymore. She is upset because the takeout was more expensive than the groceries and she was short money for groceries this week. I pointed out that she had eaten my food on multiple previous occasions. She said it was different because I have a car and my parents' credit card. Her parents give her access to a bank account, but they track her money and how she's spending it. She is so mad that she wants to move out. I think it's an overreaction myself, but I can't control how she feels. I asked her if she was really serious and not upset over food, and she said yes, so I told my parents that they might need a new tenant in the fall. I'm going to law school, so I have a few more years here. It got back to her parents, and now it's become a whole thing. Now she is also upset that I complained to my parents and got her in trouble, which is not what happened. I don't think that I was wrong to use the ingredients since she had done it in the past, and I also don't think it was wrong to tell my parents about a new tenant. Now, before I get into my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say the first comment says, I would help her pack. And the second comment says, seriously, she sounds so exhausting. And personally, I do kind of agree. She does sound like a bit of a headache. I mean, if somebody did something like this to me, personally, in my opinion, I'd probably dissociate and just look at them like they're dumb because I couldn't handle all that. That sounds like a complete this is just a petty situation. Honestly, I feel like everybody here is kind of the asshole, but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna eat somebody else's food, at least ask them. Like ask like, hey, what is this food here for? Like, can I have some? Are you planning on using it for something? Because it's kind of an inconvenience to you when you on Thursday had a whole ass rotisserie chicken and there is no rotisserie chicken on Friday. Like it had been 24 hours. And within 24 hours, this girl was going to eat a whole ass rotisserie chicken and loaded nachos. Like, please tell me, please tell me I'm wrong because that sounds like a lot of food for this girl to be eating. And I know she said it was to share with friends, but like, seriously, this is insane. Like, I would be kind of pissed if I went and bought a whole Costco rotisserie chicken. That shit was gone in less than 24 hours. Like, hello. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody's just being petty here. I don't think you were wrong though to tell your parents because like she said that she wanted to move out, and also there's a reason why that her parents are tracking her spending. There is a reason why they are doing that, especially if it's through your church community. Like, hello, the parents are like, girl, you naughty, you doing something naughty. But anyways, how do you guys feel about that story in the comments? Let me know, because we gonna head to move on to the next story. We gonna move on to the next story. And it kind of sucks because like this last part that I'm doing right now, I literally just recorded it and I just lost all of the recording. So I am re-recording it now. I was what I was telling you guys on Instagram. I've been having a lot of like just technical issues and it's so annoying. I'm trying my best though. I'm trying, guys. I promise. I mean the holidays were insane. I'm having technical difficulties. It's terrible. All right. This is going to be the last story. And honestly, I might even clip this story and post it to short form content like on Instagram and TikTok because this is actually a pretty good conversation piece. And the story does have an update. So we're going to go ahead and read. Am I the asshole for immediately saying no when my husband asked me to stop wearing earrings because he said they make women look older? My husband, 41 male, looks significantly younger than me, 43 female. Yesterday, my husband said that he would like to talk to me. He told me he loves me and that nothing will ever change that. He said I'm an amazing mom and more sweet things. Then he mentioned how earrings make a woman look older. He asked if I could stop wearing earrings because they're making me look older. In less than 20 seconds of him asking, I said no. I don't think I've ever rejected a request from my husband so fast. I usually think things through for a longer period. My husband said that he's disappointed that I answered no so quickly. I got annoyed with him and told him that he has to deal with the fact that he has an old-looking wife. He said that he doesn't want to deal with me when I'm like this and he walked away. Am I the asshole? So the first comment says that coupled with him not wanting to deal with you when you're like this is wild. He said something stupid and rude and you reacted better than most. And he decides then to act like you're the unreasonable one. Definitely not the asshole, but your husband for sure is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't understand how earrings make somebody look old. And that's what one of these comments here says. It says, how do earrings make a woman look old anyways? And somebody replied to that comment and said, I could imagine that certain types might. Big costume earrings or certain styles might make it a little more old fashioned, but it's honestly such a stupid idea that I've never even thought about it before. And I mean, you're right. I mean, I know what she's talking about. Like my grandma, she's like 75, I think. And she did wear those like really big, like kind of costumey looking earrings. So I can understand that, but like at the same time, is jewelry like I don't know. I mean, if you wearing like rich old lady jewelry, then baby girl, you rich and you old. Like, who gives who cares? But to be honest, 43 isn't really honestly that old to me. Like, I don't know. So unless OP has a really eccentric earring taste, I can't imagine how old that she looks at all. I like to think that having my 7 piercings on one ear make me look younger, but that's probably just to cope at my age. Also, ETA, I just saw a comment below that says that she wears simple stud earrings, so he's just being a really weird. Okay, well, we're gonna have to find this comment now. OP, where is your comment at? Oh, we found it. All right, so the comment asked, I've never heard this one before, and now I want to see what earrings you wear. OP replied and said the most common is white diamond stud earrings. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. I don't know about that one, boss. I don't know about that, boss. Anyways, there is an update to this story, so I'm gonna go ahead and read the update real quick. So OP says before she gets into the update that she wants to answer a frequent question. Her husband said on Saturday something about earrings highlighting a woman's face and how it can highlight wrinkles. I don't know about that, boss. Again, I don't know about that one. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's why he said earrings make a woman look older. To clear up some confusion about how I word things, he didn't mean that if a girl or woman in their 20s wears earrings that they end up looking like a grandma. By wearing earrings making a woman look older, he meant just older that if they weren't wearing earrings. Listen, I know for a fact that that shit didn't make sense when you heard it in real life. I don't even know why you typed it out because it's here in black and white, and babe, it still don't make no damn sense. Anyways, on to the update. I, 43 female, had decided that I shouldn't act like a pushover like I normally do. I decided that I needed to confront my husband about what he said on Saturday. This morning, he talked to me. He said that he loves me very much. He said that he's sorry that he hurt my feelings. He admitted that he finds me less physically attractive than when I was in my 20s and 30s. All right, so it's not about the earrings. So, okay, that makes a little more sense now. Not only because of my aging, but because of my adult acne. He said that I'm definitely not ugly, but I'm still a cutie. Babe, those wrinkles, they're... He said you just a cutie patootie. Anyways, he said that he's angry at himself for caring about such superficial stuff. He specifically apologized for asking me to stop wearing earrings. He said he honestly didn't think that I would get so angry. I confronted him about the other stuff that he said that sounded like criticisms, and he said that stuff was just flirting and apologized for being insensitive. Flirting? Hello? Did I miss something? Where was he flirting? Listen, if that's his idea of flirting, I feel really bad for him because here's the thing. He's over here saying that she's not as attractive as she was in her 20s and 30s, and I'm over here thinking men in their like mid 20s, they be flirting, okay? And they don't flirt like that. I don't know where you got your idea from flirting from, but that ain't it, girl. But that ain't it. That ain't it, brother. That ain't it, my guy. I don't know about that. Listen, I'm tired, boss. Take me out. I'm tired of this shit, grandpa. Anyways, he told me that he loves me and he will never ask me to change anything about my appearance again. I was honest with him about all the activities that I was doing on Reddit, and he said he's not angry that I reached out for perspectives. He said it's fine if I talk to my family or friends about it. He said that I need to feel more comfortable expressing how I really feel. Something many women my age will probably find pathetic. I asked my husband how less physically attractive I am now. He said in my 20s and most of my 30s, I was smoking hot, and now I'm just a cutie. Why are we saying this again? Listen. Hello? Anyways, I asked him what will happen when I age more. Like, what about when I turn 50, 60, 70, 80? He said plenty of 80-year-old women are adorable. He said that he knows he messed up royally, but he is asking me not to leave him over this. He said that he loves me and will forever. I don't know how to feel right now. Listen, none of us know how to feel right now because, what you mean? What do you mean? Okay, so first of all I have to say is that when men are superficial, I mean, even women in general, when either person, men or women, let me just go with that, are superficial about looks, it ain't ever gonna work. It's not gonna work because, again, like she said, what happens when I turn 80? What happens when you are that old? You cannot love somebody purely based on what they look like. You also have to like who they are, like their personality, the things that you guys do together. If you don't enjoy being around that person, why did you marry them? Anyways, the first comment says if he thinks that he was flirting and you think he was criticizing, that there's a major disconnect in communication that's happening. And I have to agree. But I also have to say too, like, it's kind of weird that your husband cares way too much about what you look like. I mean, you're gonna age. Both of you are gonna age. At some point, your husband is gonna be wrinkles and prune. Like, he ain't gonna be what he looked like in his 20s. Nobody does. I mean, I know that we've all seen on like TikTok and stuff, like people that'll share like photos of their mother, like before, like their mother in like high school or something, like old photos and stuff like that. And it's like these women, they were so beautiful outwardly, right? But when you get older, you look different. And it's not that they look terrible, they're still beautiful women. But yeah, like, I mean, you could be a heartbreaker in your 20s. I mean, I know we've seen all these celebrities too, even the celebrities age, and people criticize them so badly to the point where they get so much Botox and surgery, they don't even look like people anymore. So I do think it's very superficial. I'm going to say not the asshole. Your husband is a fucking weird though. Your husband is a weirdo, and I don't know how to feel, but you know what? You do you, cutie. You just a cutie. But yeah, your husband is weird, and again, it's not the earrings. It was never about the earrings. But all right, you guys, that is going to be our last story of the night. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I do want to say a quick shout out though, because we did get a story submission to our Late Night Yap podcast from Hogwarts Zero Home. And I will read that in next week's YouTube episode. The story is a little bit long and I was reading through it. There's also a trigger warning on this story. So I'm going to do this story next week. And just, I will put the trigger warning on there. So if anybody, doesn't want to see sensitive content, you do not have to listen to the story. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you for using our Reddit space to share your story. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your story with us. And to also let you guys know too, if you also have a Reddit story that, well, I guess it wouldn't technically be a Reddit story, but if you have your own personal story that you would like to submit for me to read, I am more than happy to read it. You can put it on Reddit if you want. You can also make alt accounts on Reddit. So that way, if you don't want to post like your identity, you can stay anonymous. I think there's also like a DM space on Reddit as well. So if you like to DM me, I don't have like an email set up for the podcast, but if you also, you could feel free to DM me on TikTok or Instagram as well. You may do that. I look at both DMs. And but I was thinking probably I could make an email. That might be a little bit easier for people that would love to stay anonymous, that don't necessarily want that on the internet. So it's in like like a safe space. Maybe like a Google email that can be, protected or whatever. So that way you guys can share your stories without feeling like you're giving out information of yourself if you want to stay anonymous. For those of you that don't care, you could do whatever you want. That you could submit it wherever you want, wherever your little heart desire. But yeah, I do look at both. But yeah, I just want to say thank you very much, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and I will see you guys all next week, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Bye.